So what I've got to do is I've got to take the backhoe off my 1635 tractor today. I'm going to do some haying, and I need to get the backhoe off to use a 3-point hitch. So if you stick around for about 5-10 minutes of your time, I'll show you how to do this real quick, and you'll be off using your 3-point hitch again. So stick around, and let's get this backhoe off. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is you want to have a level spot. It's probably the most important thing, because coming off is easy, putting it back on, that's a different story. So you want your dipper stick here to be about 90 degrees, about perpendicular to the ground. And it's off a little bit, but it's close enough. And then you put your stabilizers down a ways, but not all the way. And we're going to use the boom, which is this one here, to push down a little bit. And what that's going to do is that's going to rock the upper pins, or the upper part of the cradle up here, right here, and take the pressure off these pins. And then they should come right out. If they don't, you got to take a little bit more pressure off, one way or the other. See, that popped right out. So once you put enough pressure on it, you're unlocking the pins. And be careful when you put your hands in here to get this out, that you don't get anything pinched. Alright, so the pins are both out of the top. I just have the bottom pins in the cradle right now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take pressure off this and rock that. We're going to rock it so it comes this way out of that cradle. And again, be real careful. Make sure your feet aren't where they're not supposed to be. So we're gonna that right there is pushing pressure on. So you want to come back towards the tractor a little bit. And as you come back towards the tractor, that should start rocking out of the cradle. Now watch right here. So I'm going to put the stabilizer arms down just a little bit more. You don't want them to touch the ground, because what's going to happen is you're going to need a little bit of clearance here. So we're going to rock this out. You can see that's rocking. Okay. So now where we're at is we've got the pins in the bottom part of the cradle to get out. And we've got our hydraulics. So there's not a ton of play in these hydraulic lines here. So you can't really drive too far. I think when I hook this back up, I'm not going to route it through here. Right now, I'll show you. They've got them routed underneath, so all the play is gone. I don't have any play, and right now all the pressure is on these lines. Okay, so we don't want too much pressure on it. So we're gonna get some slack out, which there is some, but just remember, you don't want to put too much pressure on these fittings, or you'll have problems. So we'll pull some of the slack back, and again, just be real careful about doing it. Now this right here is kind of a sharp edge, so I don't like routing the hoses through there. I'm going to come out a different way. So what I need to do now is I need to lift this up out of these bottom cradles. And this is where it gets a little tricky, unfortunately. Okay, so right here is the bottom pins in the cradle, and that's starting to come up out of there when I put pressure on the stabilizers. And you want to be real careful doing this. Again, like I said, go real slow. There's no race here. Okay, so I've got it cleared. There's enough room to get out of there. So what I can do now is shut the tractor off, because what I'm going to do now is disconnect the hoses, and what I can do is once I've unhooked that, it's all going to be gravity to put this back down. So I don't need to have the hoses hooked up, but you need to take the pressure off those hydraulic lines before you do so. All right, so we're gonna kill power to the tractor. Now you can hear me talking a little better. Now, one of the easiest ways to kill hydraulic pressure is with your joystick. So all you have to do with this is if you float it like that, and then you just kind of like that. Now you've taken the pressure off your lines. Okay, so what we've got here is there's 3 lines. You got a return, and you get your primaries. Now these right here, sometimes they can be a bear if they're under pressure. So be real careful when you unhook these that you don't get sprayed in the face. And also, these couplings need to be kept pretty clean because there's little ball bearings in there, and if they get dirty, well, you know, bad things happen. So we're gonna unhook this. All right, so we're gonna be real careful with this. Make sure your feet aren't under anything when you're doing this, okay? And we just pull that collar back, and then this comes right out. So we've got these 2 hoses that are gonna stay, and we've got this one that's gonna stay. And you just hook these 2 together. You're gonna have to pull that coupler back like this, and then hook that in and close that, and then this one just kind of hangs out. These aren't so bad, but it's these female ones that can be the problem. So now what we've got is we've got this loop, okay, and this is a closed circuit hydraulic system, and when you've got this off, and now it's an open, and what will happen is you'll overheat your hydraulic pump, have hydraulic failures, all kinds of issues, and you'll know if you don't have this hooked on because it'll make funny noises. So we're going to hook this right there, just like that. So we're going to pull. All right, you'll know when that, here's my finger, there it is. So this top one is already connected, and then you've got an open one in the middle right there that you're not going to worry about. And you're going to take that top one and you're going to hook it onto the bottom one. So you're going to pull the collar back, and you're going to put that male connector in until it snaps. And it may be a little hard to get it in there, but if you can grab the hose and pull on it and it comes off, then it's not good. You have to make sure it snaps in, and then when you tug on the connector here, you know, just a little tug, it's not coming off, so we're good to go. Now we can start the tractor back up, move out of the way, and lower the machine to the ground. So like I said, getting it off, pretty simple. Putting it back on, a little bit more finesse. You may need some tools. I brought a hammer and a punch out here because it's an alignment punch, and sometimes you need to align it. You need to give it a little persuasion. So, all right, I'm going to pull ahead a little bit, and you're probably going to have some oil on your hands, so be careful when you go to get on your tractor you don't slip. All right, we're all preheated. I don't hear any funny noises, so the hydraulics are happy and the loader works. If the loader doesn't work when you're hooked on, you got a problem. So now we just pull away like this. And I'm going to leave the tractor running because it's really not good for it to keep turning it off and starting it again. So now I've got this up. What we're going to do is we're going to take pressure off these. We're going to pull these back up real slow. Now ideally, when I've got enough extra play in these hoses, I can do this with it still connected to the tractor, but the way they routed it, it's kind of dumb. They went through here, which they really shouldn't have. They should have just come around the outside, because what they've done is they've stolen all my extra hose that I could have used. So if you loosen up right here, I'm using my boom, okay? So I'm just taking the pressure off my boom and just putting this down to the ground. See it going down. Eventually it'll come down on its own anyway, but and you may have to wiggle a couple other levers for it to gravity down, but it'll come down. You could stand on it, that would help. But anyway, so that's it in a nutshell. It's really simple. So hopefully this has been helpful to you for taking your backhoe off. And most of the manufacturers, like I said, use the exact same method. This whole pin system with the cradles. It's way better than the old mount with a frame that went all the way to the front of the tractor. So you had to kind of jockey the tractor around, especially the little tractors. They were kind of hard to get the front wheels and everything lined up. But this is really simple. And like I said, putting it back on is a little bit more tough because you really need to line everything up. When you're taking it off, it's already lined up for you. But regardless, hope you've enjoyed the video. Please check out some of my other videos, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.